I spent about 12 years working in the corporate field, and at some point I passed the passion phase. The learning curve just kind of settled, and was living in an automated, robotic life.
Dalal Darwish spent the last 12 years working as a social development and stakeholder engagement consultant in Muscat.
Many of you probably have felt that the days that you'd even be driving home and you don't even think about the road, you're at home. That was becoming very heavy on my heart because I felt that I wasn't able to express myself, and I thought, oh, I must excel in my career. This is all conditioning. I felt at nights my heart would be aching so hard. It would be aching, and I didn't know what it was that needed to be released. I didn't even think there was something. I thought I was, crying about past relationships or past mess ups or mistakes, or even judging myself really harshly on a daily basis, until I got to a breaking point.
This breaking point led her to look for a sign, for something, anything to guide her path forward. Then one day, her friend came to visit her from Greece.
My friend came into the picture and she said, I volunteered on the Lesbos island for 2 weeks. Why don't you come? I want to do a documentary. You can be part of this team and you can volunteer.
And that to Dalal looked like a sign. So in December 2015, she decided she would tag along to help her friend with a documentary film that was eventually titled Citizen Exynos.
And also in the meantime volunteer helping Syrian and Afghan and many other nationality refugees moving across from Turkey to Greece and then into Europe. I'll try to extract myself from this life in Oman and put myself somewhere where nobody knows me. They don't know my name. They don't know my father, my mother, who am I, what I've done, what I've achieved, what I haven't achieved. And I thought I'd release myself from all of those set standards. And I ended up going with her. It was just a one-way ticket. I went to Greece. I said, I'll decide when to come back. It's 1 a.m. and we're on our way to the night shift, to the beaches. We've got some boats coming right now.
Summer 2015 recorded the highest refugee movement since World War II, most of which were from Syria and Afghanistan fleeing war and prosecution.
It was a long journey, and I was there at different points of their route. So I was there on the island once they arrived by boat from Turkey, seeing them coming down, kissing the ground, and just their smile to know that there's someone there that speaks Arabic, speaks their language, made a whole ton of problems just fly off their shoulders. You can even see it. And I thought, wow, that was just my language. I can just say, Alhamdulillah Salama, and they would feel better. That was just a few words. And then I went on to continue volunteering, and I felt that I would wake up every day so excited, even if I don't sleep enough. I'd be so excited to go and help and go and teach or distribute or whatever you name it. I was translating for lawyers, translating for doctors, whatever you can think of, I did.
After 3 months in Greece, Dalal returned to Muscat.
Just following my family's wishes, really. And I sat at my computer and I couldn't focus at all. I was not here. I was just a shell, a body. And I think my thoughts were back in Greece. So I just booked myself another ticket back because I knew I could actually make a difference.
And so she returned, where she ended up spending another 9 months for a total of a year. There was this young man. He was in his 30s. He was married, Syrian family. His mother and his daughter had already traveled through Greece, and I had actually met them on the island of Lesbos, and then saw them go through Athens and then get a plane to Germany, which took about 6 months. He arrived 3 months later, after they arrived in Greece, with his wife and 3 other children, and his wife, who was also pregnant. So they traveled to Greece, and they had to wait about 11 months until they could be reunited with their daughter and mother. And during that time, uh, this, the Syrian women became stronger. They gained some sort of, I don't know, power. Being in Europe, they believed, of course, the women's rights are, they're protected. So they became more vocal in decision making, because ultimately that would it would be the detriment of their family if the wrong decision is taken. Say they go to the border closes, they're there for 6 weeks in the rain. That's dangerous for the children. But if their husband wants to go, they're not going to keep quiet anymore. So that difference in the culture of the women really affected the men there. And this man was worried because he felt that every day he'd had to fight his wife on decisions, and he felt less and less of a man culturally as the provider. He did not have money. He couldn't buy a piece of chocolate for his kids. And he was just being beaten down until one point he decided to leave. He said to his wife, I'm going back to Syria. I'm going to go get to the Turkish border, get a train back to Syria, and I'm going to just fight. I'm going to fight with them. I'd rather do that.
So this man's mother calls Dalal from Germany to try to stop him.
Please stop him. Please do anything and stop him.
And I thought, what could I do? I don't know how to deal with this kind of situation.
Dalal calls him up to ask him where he was going. He told her that he was heading to a train station in Athens that happened to be about 2 stops from where she was.
I said, okay, fine. You can meet me at my stop. We'll have a coffee, and then you can go. All right? I won't stop you.
It was midnight when Dalal decided to go down to see him at the train station.
Not a very safe area of Athens. And I ended up sitting with him on a bench by the station, and we talked about all of his concerns, and he was just feeling fed up. And I told him, listen, you know what? I've never asked for anything from you, and I just want one thing. You've known me for how long? You've known me for so many months. So how about you do me one favor and wait for 24 hours? Just give me 24 hours. In 24 hours, if you decide to go, I will not stop you. I will give you whatever you need so that you can have a safe travel. Just give me those 24 hours.
Incredibly, he agreed. He didn't board that train. The next morning, Dalal received a call. It was from this man's mother. The mother tells her
that he's finally decided to stay in Athens with his family, and those 24 hours didn't even finish. So he made the right choice.
I think that experience really shifted me. It changed my life. And I didn't expect that to happen. I really didn't know. I was going into the unknown, and it's a selfish and a selfless act because you can't go into it without learning something about yourself.
I discovered a side of me and parts of me that were hidden in a monotonous life. So I would say definitely you have to push your limits when you're in the journey of realizing yourself and your self-worth. Any little deed you do can change anyone's life within hours. And it's just a moment that you can be there for someone in any way. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you realize, wow, you're worth just existing, let alone everything else that you can be described as. Everyone's struggle is someone else's guidance, right?